Okay, let's begin. Okay, good afternoon to everyone. Here we go again. We will have to continue our exercise. Wishing you all in good health and in a peace of mind. God bless to all. Planning and control management, special topic. First of all, I would like to thank you for all the subscriptions, your likes and shares. Our previous episode was special topic session 8. That was about project resource leveling in Primavera P6 execution. And our current episode is a special topic, session 9. And this is about the distinction on differential cost and dates conflict between a labeled resource and unlabeled resource projects. Okay, our objective is to substantiate the distinction between the labeled resource and the unlabeled resource projects. Okay, let's have a few review and insights before we proceed to the execution in Primavera P6. Okay, here we go again. Labeled and unlabeled project resource, differential cost and dates conflict. Okay, general. A project resource labeling in Primavera P6 quick function applies to a project with a situation where a specific activity or work packages are over allocated in resource assignment. With alternative solutions by modifying or rectifying activity logics and or reallocation of activity resources is possible for other situations. Okay, project resource labeling process is primarily influenced by the following imposed specifications or conditions on parameters with restrictions or limitations. Okay, condition A, preserve schedule early dates and label the resources within activity total flow. So this is the first condition. This means that it allows a labeling process to consider only the early dates that exclude late dates and label the resources within the available flow without delaying the activities and project completion dates. Delaying activities or project completion date is not tolerated. Now, here are the required conditions. You can see in the Primavera P6, in the dialog box of the resource labeling. So here, in preserve schedule early and late dates, you have to mark the checkbox. And also the label resource only within activity total float. So you have to mark this checkbox to satisfy this condition A. Okay, next, condition B. Preserve resource early dates and label the resources optimizing the availability. So this one, it allows a labeling process to consider only the activity early dates, excluding late dates, and label the resources beyond the project completion date without delaying the activities and project completion dates. So delaying activities or project completion date is not tolerated. Okay, so here is the required conditions. Under the preserve schedule early dates, early and late dates, you have to mark the checkbox. And under the label resource only within activity total float, you have to unmark this checkbox, meaning it has no limitations when it comes to the total float. Next, okay, condition C, preserve schedule early dates with late dates. Okay, preserve schedule early dates with late dates. and label the resources, optimizing the availability. This one allows a labeling process to consider both the early and late dates and label the resources beyond the project completion date and delaying the activities and project completion dates along with the extent of labeled resources. So meaning whatever is the extension of the labeled resources, the activity dates will go along with it. Okay, required condition, unmarked checkbox. When preserve schedule early and late dates, you have to unmark the checkbox. That means both the early and late dates will be considered. And also unmark the checkbox for the label resource only within activity total float. Unmark also the checkbox so that there will be no limitation on the total float of the activities of the project. Okay, so let's do the conclusion will be after our analysis on Primavera P6. So let's open our Primavera P6. Okay, here we go in front of us. I prepared this one. This was our previous episode, last execution on Primavera P6. So, but this one I've shown in here for us to be able to visualize the variance of the labeled resource and unlabeled resource. So here you can see here the unlabeled duration, meaning your project is not yet labeled. So this is the column in here, and all the other column is the labeled duration. So meaning once your project is labeled, so this will be the column. And of course, duration variance, so it will be the difference of these two. Okay. And then here also is shown the unlabeled cost and the labeled cost and the variance of the cost. And also here, the labeled start variance and the labeled finish variance. Meaning, once we run the labeling, it should show that the difference of the start of the activity after after it is labeled, and also the finish variance. Okay, so before that, to be able to make this work, we have to assign this program, or our current sample program, into itself. Okay, so meaning since this is not yet labeled, so we will assign itself into the current program. So what we need to do with that is to okay, do we need anything here to explain? Okay, so here we can see here we have our activity A is 40, activity B is 40, and C is 20. Okay, let's look at the actually this activity has no baseline yet, so that is why their unlabeled costs are the same. So first, let's me show you on the activity window, activity Gantt chart layout. Okay, so here we can see here the maximum units per time. Maybe you already remembered where we can find this one. So just go here on resource, and then highlight the labor, and then here you can see you can set your maximum units per time, and this is also called as the available units per time. Okay. Okay, let's get back to activity, and then here our allocation here for activity A, and the allocation or the budget allocated budget is 10 units per day. And also for B is 10 units per day, and C is 10 units per day. So if you look at this one, if you look at our figure here, our bar chart, there is a two competing activities here, or we call it concurrent activities. And also here in this period, we have three competing activities. So in these two competing activities, the 20 maximum units per time is enough, right? Because 10 plus 10 is equals to 20, so it is enough for the available resources, daily resources. But when it comes to here, it is over allocated by 10 units per day. Because if you add this one, these three concurrent activities, you have 30 units. We are required for 30 units, or we have an allocation of 30 units per day, while our maximum units or available units per day is only 20. So we have an over allocation of 10 units per day. Okay, so first we will save a layout. So what we have to do here is to go here, and then okay, let's remove this one. Okay, anyway, so we will add our baseline. Okay, so instead of using the convert, we have to save a copy of this current program itself. Okay, so we will go to okay. So we use the B2, right? We added this B2, so we will assign this B2 into our current program. So let's close this one, and then we will go to the assign window. Here, we will put it under the project baseline. Okay, and then choose B2 because this is the a replicated copy of our current sample program. Okay, let's click OK. Okay, so still they are of the same cost, everything. They are identical in all items. Okay, now next, now we will start running the labeling. So that means we will be running the labeling with the three conditions as we have, as you can see here. Okay, here, these three conditions, we will have to run these three conditions and observe the movement of the activities and the resource or labeled resource. Okay, so now, first we will go here. So first we will open our layout in the resource profile. Okay, pan, apply. Okay, so here, as you can see here, we have an over allocation of 10 units per day because our available units is only 20. So in this period, there is an overlapping activities here or concurrent activities or competing activities. So it can only accommodate 10 or 20 units per day at this period. So there is an over allocation. Okay, first, we will run the condition one. I will click this one. Okay. So the condition one is that we have to check this one, preserve, and then we will check this one also. Okay. And then we will run the schedule, run the labeling. Okay, click. And then yes. Okay. So if you can see the chart, there is no movement. And if you will look at here, there is no variance also on duration, no variance on cost, and also on the dates, there is no variance, meaning no movement at all. So that means if you are required to complete this project by this date, so during this period, you have to look for the supply of this over allocation because you have only 20 available units. And Primavera can't do nothing to move this activity in here. If you look at here, actually, you can move the activity, or I mean the resource in this gap here. But Primavera is following the condition that is being specified for it to follow. So that is why the reason why is that if you look at this one, the allocation here is already enough for one activity. Now, if Primavera cannot add this one in here anymore because it is only good for one activity. And adding the resources in here is not illogical anymore. It's illogical. So that means if you insist on this date, if you will not extend your project, so you are required to supply this or to source for the supply of these resources during this period. Okay. So next, so there is no movement. Okay. So next we will go to the second condition. The second condition is we have to remove this one so that we can allow the leveling process to extend or to delay the or I mean to adjust the or to level the resource at will. Okay, so meaning we are giving the leveling process to do its job to level accordingly as per the available resources, to level at will or deliberately extend the duration if possible. Okay, so let's run the schedule. Level. Then yes, okay. If you look at it, the resources is extended from to up to day 80. Okay, meaning the completion will be the completion if you allow the activity to adopt the dates of the labeled resources. So it has an extension or of how many days? 60 to 80, 20 days. So if you look at our data here, if you look at the overall, the activity B, it has a negative start of negative 20 and a finish variance of negative 20. That means if we will allow the activity to adopt this activity here, so this activity will be, the start date of this activity will move 20 days delay. And also accordingly, the finish date will go along for 20 days until it matches with the labeled resources. Okay. So in this condition, running the labeling delayed has a anticipation delay of negative 20. So now, if we really want to see the effect on the changing of the activity due to the labeled resources, so we will go back to labeling, and then Okay, now our choice here is to remove this checkbox. That means we are giving the labeling process to affect the early dates and the late dates, and at the same time, we are giving the labeling process without limitations to the availability of the total float, meaning even to extend the project. Okay, so let's click the label. Let's run the labeling and take a look what will happen. Label. So this one, if you look at this data here, obviously it will move 20 for start date and the finish date. That's right. Let's click yes. Okay, you see. So if we look at this is our unlabeled. This is our unlabeled bar. The black bar is our unlabeled bar, the one that we assigned as our baseline. And this one is our current bar, or we can call it now as a labeled bar. Okay. Okay. So this is now the case. And this is now the condition 3. Okay. If you look at here, this is now the conditions, the condition C. Okay. Preserve schedule early dates with late dates. Okay. And it allows the label resources beyond the project completion date. Okay. So everything is unmarked in here. Okay. So now, what else? Okay, so let's recall or let's regenerate the original schedule. Actually, it is very simple. Just run the schedule and then schedule. Just take note that this is the changes or the variance that resulted in the 3 conditions. Okay, let's run the schedule and then yes. Okay, so we are now on the original schedule. Now, in this case, if you look at this one, do you think that we can move this one in here so that at least the available resources can be utilized, can be maximized to avoid or to reduce the over allocation? So we will try the alternative solution or alternative method to label this item, because since we will use the quick function of Primavera. Primavera has nothing to do when we restrict the completion of the project on the same date, and we are not allowed to extend. So we have no choice. Okay. So how to do this? We will use the what we call the alternative method. And if you look at this bar here, since this is a activity with available float of 10 days. So meaning if we will move this activity here up to here, it will not affect the project completion date, right? Unless if it extends here, so you will be getting delayed. Now, if we will move it by 10, of course, the start date will also be moving, and it will start from here. So once you move these 10 days here, there will be only 2 competing activities will be left, right? And from here, down here, it has also two competing activities or concurrent activities that will be accommodated by the resources. So if you look at the bar here, if you move this one, of course, this one will be moving, right? Will be moving. Once you move this one, since when you move this one in here, and this one will be moving in here, so this will be a two competing activities, right? So that means this two is already enough for the available resources. So if we will move this resource over allocation from here, so there is no use. It is still over allocated. But if we will move it in here, because since there is already two activities assigned for this period, so it will work, right? Okay, let's do it. Now let's go back to the activity Gantt chart window. And then we will rectify the, okay, we'll highlight this activity and we will move it here. So we will rectify the relationship tab. Okay. Now, instead of start to start of 30, we have to put it here, finish to finish of this activity. Okay, with zero relationship, zero log. So we'll make it 0 and we will make it as finish to start. Okay. You see, if you look at that, okay, the activity becomes critical. Of course, because there is no float anymore. No available float is, the available float of 10 days is used up by relocating the activity to finish the same time with the completion of the project. Okay, so let's get back to the resource profile and then apply. Okay, look. You see, there is no more over allocation. And the available resources are maximized on this period. Okay. How about if we will try to use the alternative method, another one, as one of the alternative method is by reallocating the resources. Okay, so we will try it. So how to do it? So when we say reallocating resources, so we have to modify or rectify the resources of the activity, meaning we have to reduce. Okay, first let's get back to, we will restore our original schedule, run the schedule, and then schedule. You see, it didn't move because the activity is fixed or changed in a relationship. Okay, so what we have to do here, we will restore it into the original relationship. So let's get back to activity Gantt chart. And then I will go here and then change this back to start by 30 days. Okay, so we are on the original schedule. Now we will apply the what we call the alternative method by reallocating the budget of the activities. So let's say, for example, we will go to resource tab. Let's say, for example, A, B, and C, we will make it 5. because we have 20 original duration here. So to make it to resolve, if you look at our resource profile here, there is an over allocation here. So one of the alternative solution is to reduce or reallocate the budget, reduce the budget. Okay. So one question, is reducing the budget is the proper way of resolving the over allocation? That's one of the question. The answer is it depends. If you think that you miscalculated originally the budget, then it is reasonable. But if not, I think that is not reasonable. You will just if you want to satisfy yourself, just to show the no over allocation for your schedule by reducing the budget or the allocation, that is not reasonable, unless if there is a reason that you reduce the allocation due to miscalculation on the original computation, then that is reasonable. Or otherwise, let it be. And don't modify or change your budget if it is really accurate and if it is really reliable, because you are just ruining your schedule, right? Or otherwise, if you are, as I said, the alternative one that we have done before, just a while ago, that is more one of the constructive way of doing it. But in this method, the reallocation, we are assuming that, let's say we are assuming that the calculation of the original calculation was not really accurate or miscalculated. So we have to reduce the meaning. If you find out that the current allocation, the reason why it is over allocated is that because the calculation or the original calculation was not taken care accurately. So that is the right way of reallocating the project for over allocation. So let's get back to activity Gantt chart. So if you want to remove that reallocation, if you look at this one, so if we have 20 maximum units available, so if we think that 5, 6, 7, 8, or if we think that we can provide 6 units per day, so it will give us 18. So that means your over allocation will be resolved as long as 6 units per day is really the accurate calculation of the allocation of the budget. Okay, so let's try it. So for one, let's make this as 6. This one, let's make this as 6. And this one, let's make this as 6. Okay, and then we will get back to our resource profile. Okay, so meaning actually we are here on this maximum competing activities. We still have under allocation of how many? 18 by 20. So we have 2 units per day under allocation. So that is the one of the resolution on working or resolving the over allocation of the projects. Okay, I think we resolve everything, and I hope that this is very clear to everyone. So let's get back into our here. So we will go to the conclusion as per our demonstration. Okay, since Primavera P6 resource leveling process for activities resource over allocation has no influence at all uh, to make changes to the activity durations, a resource unit cost and resource units per time allocation. Therefore, differential cost is equal to zero, or leveled resource cost is equal to the unleveled resource cost, regardless of the resource leveling process imposed conditions. And even the application of alternative method by modifying activity relationship has no effect to the cost of both unleveled and leveled resource project, unless resource budgeted units per time is recalculated or moved by alternative method, reducing resource allocation. So let's get back into our Primavera because we have not discussed this one. Okay, when we use the resource allocation, or I mean the alternative method, if you look at here, our data, you see this one? Our unleveled cost was 400,000 total. But since we reduce our allocation to 6 units per day, so it comes out that the total amount is lesser than how many? 160. Okay. So that means only on the condition that the over allocation is addressed or resolved by the alternative method of reallocating or reducing the resource assignment will change the or have a variance into the two projects. Other than that, the cost variance are all equals to zero. Okay. You see, so this one, it has a cost variance or lower than 32,000. This one is 64, and the overall is 160. So on this condition, or on this method of resolving the over allocation, will change the cost of the leveled project compared to the unleveled project. Other than that, there is no other conditions that could change the cost of the project or of the unleveled cost when you level the project. Okay? Okay, I hope that everybody understand it. Okay, let's get back here. So let's repeat this one. Since project resource leveling process for activities resource over allocation has no influence at all to make changes to the activity durations, resource units, unit cost, and resource units per time allocation. Therefore, differential cost or is equal to zero, meaning the difference of the cost of the leveled and unleveled project, or it is equivalent to the leveled resource cost is equal to the unleveled resource cost, irregardless of the resource leveling process imposed conditions. And even the application of alternative method by modifying activity relationship has no effect to the cost of both unleveled and leveled resource project unless resource budgeted units per time is reallocated or modified by alternative method by reducing resource allocation reasonably. Okay, next. While a resource leveling process for activity resource over allocation has the capability to delay the activities and project completion dates when resource leveling process imposed condition tolerates delaying activities beyond project completion date along with the delaying effect of resource over allocation leveling process. Next. The last one is in preparing project program or schedule, accurate information on the availability of resources and the assessment of resource allocation should be ascertained in prior to be able to appropriately apply the resource leveling effectively. Okay, I think I hope that this is gives clear to the viewers, and I hope I shared a lot on you regarding the resource leveling. Okay, moving forward. So I think we will be ending this session here, and we will be proceeding on to our next upcoming episode. Okay, next episode is special topics also, session 10. So here are the upcoming episode. This is the next episode, accelerating project completion or compressing project duration by maximizing available resources for under-allocated resource projects. Okay, so here are our upcoming resources here. I would like to see you on this episode and thank you for watching. And our upcoming episodes are kindly subscribe, like, and share. Your comment is valuable to improve the content and quality of our exercise. Okay, program update 003, progress and actuals updates. So we still have not yet started our update or third month update. Okay, program update 003, incorporate contractors delays into the current program. So meaning on this session, or I mean on this update period, we will be working or assuming contractors delays. I mean the identified contractors delays. And the third one is the delay impact analysis of contractors identified delays. And the next one is the determination of contractors performance efficiency. I hope that you are already aware of this terminologies here from our previous episode. Okay, so end of our session and God bless to all.